Hi everyone, welcome to sketching. This is day 18 of my sketching challenge. Today I'll be drawing a cup of coffee. Well, it's actually my wife's cappuccino that she had today. I thought it'd be an interesting draw, this one, because there's a lot of texture on the actual coffee itself. There's a lot of you got them chocolate sprinkles melting into the milk and the water, and there's a lot of bubbles. There's a lot of things going on. So I thought it'll be a good practice to do some different types of texture. So all I started with was a peachy background, changed the layer to kind of like a peachy light colour to complement the colours that are going on inside the mug. This was just to kind of get a feel for them colours. At the end, what I do is I change the background to kind of an opposite colour. So all I'm doing now is I just blocked out the colour with an oil brush, and all I'm doing is just kind of drawing out the outline of the mug. I wasn't too bothered about the getting the mug right. It was more about the texture, and all I'm doing here now is just adding in some lights and darks with the oil brush. The oil brush has a very nice texture to it, especially if you kind of use it with the flow of your hand. It kind of differs and varies, which is really good, because in realistic terms, that's what a brush tends to do when you move it around with your hand. It does tend to vary the strokes, and it's really good, I think, on Procreate. So all I'm doing now is I'm just adding in kind of some rough texture with the lighter peachy colour. It's a similar colour like the background, and I think I've just changed the brush now to the Jensen-Key ink brush that I use to add in some darker tonal areas on the surface of the froth of the coffee, and I'm just going in with different variations of brown and orange. And what I'm doing now is I'm just adding in some kind of like rough details where that chocolate sprinkle is with the 6B pencil, using dark brown colour. So I'm using the same technique that I've been using for the last couple of days with the pencil, where I'm using the sharper end of the tip and just coming up with some circular motions, and then using the side of the tilt function to kind of go over it to create a bit of depth. It's working really nice with the iPad Pro. Every day I tend to use the iPad Pro for about maybe 30 to 40 minutes a day, but then I also do my traditional work, so I kind of maybe spend another 30 to 40 minutes on my traditional. It's just to kind of vary things, and obviously it's like riding a bike, isn't it? If you don't do something for a while, you tend to forget how to do it, but then or to get back into it, you just need to practice a little bit, and there you go. It's like you never forgot. So that's kind of why I tend to draw, and I'm going to suggest this. You're probably bored of hearing me say this, but do give this a challenge, a go. Whether it be traditional or whether it be digital, just give it a go. Spend 5-10 minutes maximum. Don't try coming up with a perfect drawing or an image, or a perfect painting. Just draw something. Do some scribbles. Do something. Use reference, and that way you'll just start getting used to drawing every day. And then hopefully when we tackle 2018 with the bigger projects that I'm going to start doing, you can actually do those projects with me, because I'll be doing tutorials where it'll be mainly on landscapes, where I'll kind of slowly develop a landscape, and I'll give step-by-step guidance on how to do this, and you can follow me doing this, and that way you'll be able to progress. But before you kind of do that, you do really need to get back into the flow of doing things. So again, all I'm doing now is added circular lines with the pencil on another layer, creating small circles, and now all I'm doing is with the airbrush, I'm just adding in where that frothy milk is kind of randomly scattered around the coffee, and then around the chocolatey areas. I'm not a cappuccino drinker, so I haven't got much of a clue of cappuccino. I'm more of an Americano person. I like my coffee sharp and dark, and with crema, might I add. It has to have crema. So all I'm doing now is I'm just changing the background to like a bluish grey colour, which is kind of an opposite colour to orange. If you look at the colour wheel, I'll do a complete different video about how to use different colours and complement colours and opposite colours to kind of create like a decent picture. that's pleasing to the eye, and kind of the psychology of colour that will be coming in 2018 hopefully. So all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of rubbing out the edges of the rough kind of paints that I did to lay down the shape of the mug. I just added some pencil lines in to kind of give me a bit of guidance to just rub out. I only put them in for guidance purposes, so it's easier to kind of rub out. And again, to do a quick sketch, it's just a lot easier to just throw your paints and your ideas down rather than to be precise, and then if you have time later on you can kind of like, clean it up. This drawing took me around about 30 to 35 minutes to complete. Again, it's not a complete drawing, of course it isn't, but it will kind of really help you in kind of like, understanding how to quickly draw and get your ideas on paper or on tablet. So all I'm doing now is I'm just adding in some kind of like, more darks and lights to the shades of the actual mug, where the handle is, to kind of, really bring it out and make it pop, because otherwise if you kind of leave your things a bit too flat, then they become uninteresting. Obviously this isn't photorealism, as I always keep saying, but it can be an aspect of realism in it. So it worked out pretty well. I was quite happy with the overall effect, but yeah, there's a lot of texture in it, so there's a lot of kind of work to do. But at the end of the day, the more you try and the more you work using different angles, the more you're going to kind of improve. I'm really looking forward to 2018 because I've got so much planned for it, and I hope you do join me in that. So do subscribe to the channel to kind of like, stay in tune with what I'm doing. And all I'm doing now is I'm just using the technical gel pen from the pen brushes, the ink brushes, to kind of just do some cross hatching with black and white, to add a bit more of interest to the overall image, and again add a bit more 3D aspect to it. And yeah, because again, you've probably got to know me by now, that I love my cross hatching, and I usually always find somewhere to add cross hatching into. So it's really, I would definitely try it out. So all I'm doing now is adding in the drop shadow that was on the table, and I'm adding some shadow points on the actual mug itself, some darks, and then all I did was I clicked on the opacity on that layer and made it really light so that it looks uniform, so it doesn't look too blotchy. So thanks so much for your time and your help. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, please also subscribe to the channel, and please also share this channel with others so that we can all learn from each other. And thank you so much for your time. Keep sketching, take care of yourself, and peace.